Cheers folks, welcome to the live unboxing of the all famous Elegoo Mars MSLA resin 3D printer. It's quite a mouthful. So yeah, this is it. I've not, as you can see, not looked into the box yet. Hoping this tech. Oh yeah, look at that tech that works. Isn't that beautiful? So yeah, we are going to look at the Mars 3D printer from Elegoo. This is currently a machine that is on sale for $249 or euros or money units. I guess it's always, it's always kind of bouncing around. They are saying they're running a sale until the end of August, if you can actually find it. The thing is, it's sold out everywhere. Amazon, pretty much everywhere. You can buy it on Amazon Spain, that is linked below. But yeah, if you can buy it, apparently it's a pretty decent printer. So yes. However, before we start into this, and I've seen some notes about that in chat already, is the goo, I guess that the goo in Elegoo isn't really referring to the goo, but is the resin actually still quite toxic? And yes, it is. Resin is quite the nasty stuff. It's not like, a solvent that you wash off and then, okay, that's it. The problem with resin is that it sensitizes your immune system. So if you get in contact with it repeatedly, it may sensitize your immune system, and then the next time you get in contact with it, you're going to get hives and blisters, and you're just going to have a full-on allergic reaction or other stuff. So before we start, I do want to talk about the safety precautions that you should take when dealing with resins. I'm hoping I've got the resin here. Yes. So first order of business, gloves. You do definitely need gloves if you're touching anything that has come in contact with resin, and you specifically need nitrile gloves. I think what are the other rubber types also works, but latex gloves, the standard ones that you can get at the supermarket, do not work. You need at least nitrile gloves. These are a bit more expensive, but not by much, and definitely worth it. And yeah, so these you need. If you're working in a closed room, you also need a respirator, and not just the dust mask type. That does absolutely nothing for you. So if you have just the regular, operating room kind of mask, then yeah, that's not going to do anything. You definitely need the cartridge type. Let me see. So this is German, naming conventions here. So this is a 3M A2. So that is for organic vapors. That is, as far as I understand it, what you actually need to stay somewhat safe when dealing with this stuff in a closed room. You may be able to hear in the background the ventilation system going full blast. I do have that in this studio, so I do have a bit of fresh airflow. So I'm hoping I'm not going to need this today. Stuart Jeffrey is saying any non-porous gloves should be okay. That is correct. However, if you're using latex gloves, if it comes into contact with resin or with oily substances, the latex does get permeable, does start to crack, and it will eventually let the resin leak through. That's what I understand. So yes, grab some nitrile gloves and be on the safe side. So yes, respirator, lol, well, it's your health. It's up to you. The tips I'm giving is just to ease my consciousness, to not let you guys run headfirst into disaster and wrecking your health. I'd rather stay on the safe side, because you only live once. If you get yourself in trouble with this sort of stuff, there's no undoing it. That's the problem. So let's grab into it. How long will the stream go? I don't know. I'm hoping it won't be that long. But yeah, as long as it needs to go. I did grab myself some coffee, some freshly brewed stuff. And yeah, we'll just be powering through this. So this came from, so Elegoo shipped me this machine. And it came straight from the Amazon logistics system. So they did ship it through their Amazon seller account, I assume. A shortcut for 20 bare hands isn't okay. No, bare hands definitely is not okay touching this stuff. So, yeah, this apparently is a relatively simple resin 3D printer. So it's got all the, I mean, we can look at the specs if you're into that. It's got, you know, your standard, what is it, 3.5-inch touchscreen on the front. That is not the display that's doing anything. It's got a, doesn't actually say the size. That is interesting. Build volume, there we go. 12 by 6.8 centimeters by 15.5 centimeters tall. And it's a 1440p screen, so it is relatively high resolution. Typically, you have a 1080p display in these. And 1440p is, I think, twice as many pixels. So, yeah. Let's see, I don't think we've got any resin included, so I am going to use Wanhao resin with this. They are including a power cord, the correct one for me. Let me flip this screen real quick here. There we go. So, power cord, correct one for Germany and most of Europe. They're including a 2mm hex screwdriver. A spatula, we know this for scraping stuff off the build plate. A power supply. Oh, this one looks fancy. AC/DC adapter. What is this? 12 volt, 5 amps, so typical supply. You guys ready for the peel? Ah, look at that. It's got the power LED there. Cool, and the backside too, because there's more foil on there. Let me get the mic up real close. Ah, yeah. So that's the power supply, 12 volt 5 amp model in a fancy package. Where's my trash bin? There we go. How much is the machine? 249 euros currently. So there's a measuring cup there. I don't know what you're going to use that for. There are some gloves in here. Not sure what they are, but they feel, I would say these are nitrile gloves, just by feeling how flexible they are compared to the nitrile gloves I have. Yeah, latex gloves are a lot more elastic, so I think these are nitrile, so very good. That's trash. What else we have? Ooh, flush cutters. Nice, so these are, I suppose, for taking the supports off of your prints, because you're rarely going to have your prints lay down flat on the build plate. So you're always going to have those little tree-like supports going up. So these are to snip that off. These actually feel pretty good, and they're ground pretty flush down there. Hey Joe, our Maltese 3D printing noob, also around. Okay, these are interesting. So these are actually for spray paint. So these are paint filters, technically. Make use of that zoom lens. So these look like coffee filters, but they have like a small mesh portion down here, so that you can pour, for example, well, automotive paints, or in this case, resins through it. So you can filter your stuff. I guess this fits on the. No, there's no real holder with this. It doesn't fit on the measuring cup. But yeah, filters included. That's nice. I was actually looking at buying these because, you know, the resin does get pretty nasty over time. Then what else? What is this? That is some sort of 3D printed? Yeah, actually 3D printed holder. I guess that's to hold the build plate somehow. Allen keys, a few screws. I guess that's for the build plate. And a few of these surgical masks. Like I said, these don't really do anything because you're not dealing with particulates. You're not dealing with fumes or actual particles that fly around. You're dealing with organic stuff. So that's that. I don't think I'm going to be using these, so goodbye. Cool. By the way, who gets the thumbnail of this stream? Like I've posted it on Twitter beforehand and people were like, what? Who gets it? Let me know. Manual. I will actually try to use this. But let's stick in the into the main event here. So relatively, get out of here. Relatively compact size. So the only other resin machine that I've tried so far is there we go, is the Wanhao D7. And this is, I'm going to say exactly the same size. Like literally same dimensions, same everything. But the one thing that I definitely see as an advantage here is you get the red acrylic top versus the Wanhao just had a folded sheet, steel sheet cover, so you couldn't actually see inside. Here you can. Oh, look at that. Yeah, Elegoo Mars, obviously, that's the idea here, because this is the Elegoo Mars. Oh, that doesn't show anything. Yeah, I know I've almost achieved dad level jokes here. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so the build platform here, that's this right here. So it has like a sort of a ball head on it. It looks like. It doesn't actually flex, so we're gonna have to see how that works. But that's where this part goes. So there's the cutout there, and here's that 3D printed part that goes in here. And apparently you can kind of prop that up somewhere. We're gonna have to see. Thanks for the $2, Tenera. Build plate holder for dripping resin to the vat. Okay, that makes sense. So I guess like this. I guess so you put that on an angle and then it can drip in, or like that or something. I guess like that, yeah. Look at that. So now you can hold that on here, like that, like that. What? Looks messy. Okay, but that how you're supposed to do it? Doesn't look right. Okay, the manual will explain. All right. So what I also saw on the listings on Amazon was that the color of the Z-axis column on this Mars was going to be shipping randomly either in silver or in black anodized. So apparently I got the silver one. Let's see. So build quality wise, looks good. Feels good. This is a linear railing here, so it's a pretty solid looking Z-axis, whereas you may see like pretty flimsy constructions going up here, but there's very little flex in here. We're gonna have to see whether this thing wobbles at all, but yeah, can I push this up? I probably shouldn't. We have the typical, you know, faint red anodization on the base here. This is pretty massive aluminum here. I guess this one we can take out. Oh yeah, and the vat then slides out. And you can see the phone screen that's being used in here. So, well yeah, I guess. So sometimes you even saw like the Android buttons on these, just on the bezel. This looks like a relatively, so yeah, there's no front-facing camera or sensor cutout. So this is like a semi-custom unit here, but these typically are cell phone screens or smartphone screens. I don't know what the correct terminology is these days, but yeah, looks relatively decent. That looks like a, I don't know, like a 6-inch device or something. And this is 1440p. Again, it looks like a cell phone screen because that's what it is. So that goes in here. There is already that FEP or whatever that material is they're using here, film on here. So that goes in here. We screw it down, and that's it. Cool. So we've got that, we've got that, we've got that. Let's do some more peeling. Got a metal spatula, the plastic will melt. What? This plastic you're saying will melt from the resin? Okay, well, I mean, I'm not really, you know, doubting anything that's being said about resin, but I wouldn't think it's that crazy. Where do I start peeling this? I guess on the bottom here. Okay, not quite as satisfying as the power supply. It's not smooth. This is more like cling wrap, cling film. Okay, that came out cleanly. I actually don't want to touch it because it's so fresh and clean. Look at that, all nice and glossy. Yeah, so apparently, let's quickly explain how this works. So, because I'm seeing in chat that there's some confusion about what actually is happening in here. Oh, more peeling. Hold on. Yeah, okay, great job, Elegoo. Yeah, so let's quickly explain what's actually happening in here. So these machines, you give them power, you give them USB, you give them data, they get a sliced representation of whatever you're printing, and that gets displayed on the screen in here layer by layer. So the build plate moves in, the first layer sticks to it, it moves up slightly, it exposes the next layer. So underneath this phone screen, this is a regular LCD screen. Underneath this phone screen is a UV LED. I guess max rated for 60 watts because that's what the power supply does. And that actually cures the resin. So the image you're going to be seeing on the screen will not be visible to the naked eye typically. But yeah, it will be curing the resin. I think you'll be slightly seeing a glow. We'll see. Be careful, that plastic cover on the touchscreen can keep the screen from working correctly. Ooh. Well, we'll see. Okay, so basically it is curing the resin that we're going to pour in here layer by layer, and it's going to move this build platform. Why is this stuff so dusty? Out as we go, and the UV light is what's actually curing this. What I've learned is that the resin is actually not that sensitive to just ambient light. So what I'm using in here is fluorescent light for everything basically, which does have a UV component to it. It should be filtered out mostly, but yeah, I've actually got some prints that I did on the Wanhao D7 from, I guess, over a year ago. So these by now have cured pretty much, there you go, up. These have cured pretty much completely and are all dry now, or not, well, dry. Dry is the wrong word. They're not goopy, resiny anymore. But yeah, this is what I'm expecting quality-wise. This is what the Wanhao D7 did, which is not the most greatest machine ever, but yeah, that's what it will have to live up to, and these parts have cured by now. Thanks for the $10, Chris. Great to have you in the stream. All right, should we read a manual? I think manual reading is it's kind of mandatory. So they did include a USB drive. I'm always kind of scared plugging in like random software drives into my production machine. In fact, let me do some things here real quick that could minimize the harm that it does. Quit that, log out that. Okay, yes. So resins, we're going to be using Wanhao 3D printing resin yellow or clear. I think the yellow may be a bit easier to work with because it's not clear. So yes, that's what we're going to be using. Cooper Duper is asking, what is this printer going to cost once it's actually back in stock? So it's currently on sale at 249 money units. It will be like 379. I think that's what it's officially listed at on the Elegoo page. But you know, you never know how long these sales are actually going to be going on for, whether it will be, you know, an infinite sale just to have like a, you know, was and is now price that they compare to. But I wouldn't be surprised if it stays at 250 forever, because there's not really much to these machines. It's really just a Z-axis, a phone screen, and you know, an LED, which are all relatively cheap parts. So again, I wouldn't be surprised if it actually stays at that price forever. So let me see how I can actually show you guys this manual here in the best possible way. Maybe like that, because I don't actually have an up, you know, a zoomed in view from the top. So you can pass out and lose memory from fumes. Well, you guys will be watching. It'll be entertaining, right? Okay, notes. Keep it out of the reach of children. Yes. You need to adjust it. Yes, unbox and test. We will do that. Clean the bed. Please only fill 1/3 of the resin tank and don't fill it up. Okay, will do. Please use 95-degree or higher ethyl alcohol or isopropyl alcohol to wash your model. Five liters of isopropanol, aka propane 2O. What a weird name. So I'm going to be using that to wash off models and to clean off any spilled resin, which there definitely will be some. Still remember the one-how duplicator stream where everything was covered in resin. Please use the printer indoors. Oh, and avoid direct sunlight and a dusty environment. Yes. Please wear a mask and gloves before using and avoid direct skin contact. Yes. If you want to print models with sharp edges, please be careful when removing it from the build platform. There is no included replacement film here. So, whereas the one-how D7, I actually got it right over here, had like a replacement FEP film. So it looks like an empty bag, but there's like this film in here that goes on the bottom of the vat. There's no replacement included here, but I guess you can actually buy those pretty readily on Amazon, AliExpress, and wherever. Please don't disassemble, blah, blah, blah. Okay, don't care. Propane accessories. Okay, rotary knob, that's on the platform. Touchscreen, resin tank cover. So system is the Shitu L5.5 series. I guess that's the firmware this thing is running on. I'm hoping you guys can actually read this. The stream is 4K. UV, okay, got it. Take out the printer carefully and take off the plastic film, yes. Connect power cable to the printer and power supply. Let's follow this meticulously. Got links. I do have all the links to the printer in the description below. Again, that is to Amazon. That takes you to your local Amazon page where it may or may not be in stock. There's also a link to Amazon Spain where it currently is in stock. And those ship at least to Europe. I'm not sure how far outside of Europe they ship. For actually pretty low rates. So if you want it now and if you're in Europe, you can check that Amazon Spain link. And I've also put a link to AliExpress. They say they've got authorized sellers on AliExpress, but I've not found it there. So it may become available eventually there. But right now the only place that I found where you can actually buy it is Amazon Spain. Link in the video description. That is an affiliate link. And Amazon doesn't want me to tell you that buying through affiliate links helps out the channel. So I'm not going to tell you that. But the links are below. So yes. There's a power button back here. Let's see if we get smoke. There's no smoke. There's no fan. Bah! Now there's a fan. Okay, so fan is, you can probably hear it. So my microphone, you can see is right here. Fan is audible. Probably not like super duper quiet, but quiet enough for, I'd say, an office environment. I wouldn't want to have this on the desk next to me, but it's not annoying. It's just wind noise. It's not like a whine or anything. Martin Kohlberg, thank you for your €5 donation, or tip, I guess I should say. Much appreciated. Cool. So this is on. Please insert the build platform, fasten the rotary knob, and loosen the screw. So I'm guessing I should take this out. Because I can't actually fit it in if the... Oh, that is... That is like all the way at the bottom. Okay. Insert the build platform, fasten the rotary knob, and loosen the screw. Which screw? These screws. Is that because it's... Oh. That is interesting. They actually left the... That's interesting. So how does that work though? Did they leave the touchscreen intact? Is this actually touchscreen? Does it actually detect if there's something pressing down? I don't know, man. I'm probably gonna have to clean this off. Where is this? Oh! It's like, it's force sensitive on the Z-axis. What the? Okay, interesting. Raise the build platform, and here we run into a first issue. The manual doesn't actually say anything about raising stuff or how I should be doing things. So I just thought, well, install it. So I went through these steps, and the manual kind of, yeah, left me there. So cool. Let's try what chat says. Manual. Can we move up? Can we move up by 10 millimeters? There we go. I was going to follow the manual, but that has officially ended now. Okay, that back in place. It's interesting that it's shipped so far down that it's essentially, you know, all the way at minimum. So yeah. Follow the manual, don't follow the manual. I'm just going to do it as usual, where it's going to be a mix of winging it and kind of reading along, so that, you know, everyone's going to be unhappy in the end. People who say, oh, follow the manual, and people who say, don't follow the manual, both can complain. Fantastic. Loosen the screws. So I'm guessing I'm going to be using this tool. I am not using this tool. I'm using one of these hex keys. Nope, that's the bigger one. So loosen these two. I guess that unlocks like some ball head looking thing. Oh, that one's tight. Yeah. I've loosened it, okay. Thanks, guys. But this one essentially says do that. There's a spring in here that just popped it out, so there's like no. Hoping it didn't damage the FEP films. There's just a sleeve in here that compresses. There's nothing keeping it from falling out. It looks like there's a pinhole right there. You guys see that? Right there. That. Looks like there's supposed to be a pin in here, but there is not. So, fantastic. Yeah, there is definitely a thing in the FEP film. But I feel like there should be a pin in here that just holds it in place. So, as is, we just have a spring and a ball that doesn't really, you know, it's just, you know, if I loosen the screws, it just pops out. So I am going to say they did forget to install a pin here. Just follow the instructions. What is going on, Jared? I don't know either. Is that threaded? Oh, it looks like it's threaded actually. Yeah, if you actually go all the way in here, there you go. It looks like if you look down here, I think there's an M3 thread in here. So I'm gonna grab a screw real quick and see if I can put that in, because without the screw, I don't think I can actually make this work. So too much loosen. No, there's literally nothing that's holding this thing in place, dude. Bit gnome. I'll be right back. Let me see, do I actually have some screws here? I just had some at hand, but I think those aren't. Oh, those may actually be long enough. There you go. Don't actually need to leave the studio. So let's see. M3 screw. There we go. Look at that. It was so easy all along. So that's the pin that's actually keeping stuff from bouncing down. So if you put this in here, hold it in, and then actually, that's too small. Check the spare parts bag. There's a few screws in here, and that's it. There we go, that feels better. I'm gonna unscrew this slightly, so that's actually gonna, yeah, so the, okay. That's better. So now it can swivel kind of freely, and when we clamp down the screws here, I shall demonstrate. This is, well, more or less locked in place. I guess you need to tighten both. And this is basically locked in place at the angle that he set it to without dropping out further. Fantastic start, Elegoo. Fantastic. So, yeah, that fixed it. They just didn't install the screw. Cool. Time for some coffee. God damn it. Why do I keep doing these Chinese unboxings? I mean, I know what I'm getting into. So, okay. This goes on here. Thread lock it. Maybe it fell out in the box? Well, I guess then there would need to be a screw in here somewhere. I do want to give them the benefit of the doubt, because I don't know their track record, but yeah, this is not a box that stuff would fall out of. This is pretty tight and there is no screw in here. They just never installed it. Like, no way. Nope. Nope, there never was a screw in there. Stay here, Birkenstock. Cool. So now this thing can swivel. Now that thing can swivel. And we can lock it in place. So let's follow the manual, right? Because that's worked out so great. I'm getting cynical again. I guess that's why you guys love these live streams. Press tool, manual, move z-axis to 0. Essex. That's an interesting way to spell axis. I guess if you press, let's see how we can get rid of reflections. Everything is reflecting. There we go. There. Tool? No, back. Tool, manual. Move z-axis to 0. So that's this one. Okay, it's reasonably quiet. In the white foam package, there is nothing in the white foam package. There is nothing in the white foam package. No screw. Okay, and stop trigger. Okay, so I guess now I get to... so it does slightly push up the build platform. That's what that sleeve is for. So the build platform can actually slide up inside that collet. That is pretty good, because it doesn't just allow you to level like the rotation, but it also allows you to set a z-axis that is, you know, at 0. So I'm guessing these. Yeah, I'm guessing I'm gonna tighten in these. There is a set Z0 in tool menu. That was the thing that I just did, I think. Get over here. So yeah, Z-axis is relatively quiet. Not that it matters much with resin printers, because I mean that they don't move Z or Z all that much anyways, but yeah. So this looks nice and tight. Let's move on. Okay, so we've made it through the first 2 pages of the manual. We are at tighten it. Press 10 millimeters, then press up for 10 times. Then the z-axis will go up about, wow. So if you press 10 millimeters 10 times, then it should be roughly 100 millimeters. Okay, let's do that. Let's go up roughly. Okay, so 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm not sure if I hit all those, but yeah. I feel this is a resistive touchscreen, right? Yeah, resistive, not capacitive. I mean, yeah, it doesn't really matter for this sort of stuff. I guess that's about 100 millimeters. You're supposed to tighten the front one first. Doesn't say so in the... Oh yeah, it does. Please fasten number 1 first. Whatever. It does say so in the manual. So we moved up by 100 millimeters. Test the UV lights by pressing tool exposure next. So first of all, UV lights, you probably shouldn't be looking into those. This is not like UVC. This is probably more like UVA, which is the less harmful version of UV lights. But you usually shouldn't be looking into UV lights directly. But let's do it anyways. Because, fun fact, glasses, because these are acrylic lenses, they do absorb pretty much all the UV light that's out there. So I'm safe. You guys are safe too because you're looking through a camera. But yeah, if you're doing this live, maybe don't necessarily look into the light that long. Tool exposure next. Exposure time of the test image 200 seconds. Okay. Start exposure. So I'm guessing that's what it's trying to expose. And yes, there is in fact. Maybe you can see it. Maybe you can't. Yeah. So there is definitely some dirt underneath the build platform. No, on the build platform. That's packaging dust. So the LCD screen is working, and you can actually see the UV LED kind of being diffracted through the. There we go. That's the LED in the bottom, and I think the LCD itself is kind of diffracting it in there. So that's nice. You can see the LCD is working. Cool. Put the cover on. Yeah, I guess you could do that, but so that's going to expose for 200 seconds. The UV lights work. I mean, there's no diffuser in here. That's doesn't look like it's actually like you can directly see the LED, but I don't think it matters that much because it's. You know, it just needs that one layer to get lit up anyways. All right. All right, model printing. I'm guessing we're moving on. I'm guessing it has a sample model. How long is that actually going to print? Plug the USB to your printer, wear your mask and gloves, and then add resin slowly to the third level of the tank. Avoid direct contact with your skin. Yeah. No shit. Select model file rook.cbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbdbd printing. So they also have a software that you can slice stuff with. It's called Shit-to-Box. Saved in the U-disk, choose the right version and install so you can slice your own stuff. I'm just gonna, or guys, let me know. Should I just do the sample print, because that's probably gonna take a while, or should I try to slice something? Vote now with your chat messages. And thank you, Keith, for the $10 donation tip. Build a Voron next live stream. And look, that sounds like a bit of a bigger project. Let me see, where's my mouse? Rook model prints 241. UV is not good for the plants on the shirt. That is correct. Slice, 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 slice. Okay. Okay. Okay, that is pretty decisive. Okay. USB drive, computer. That goes here. Hold on, let me rearrange my desktop so you guys don't see stuff that shouldn't end up on YouTube. Good enough. So let's slice something. So I'm not going to be doing the test print. I will go straight to slicing. Yeah, turn off UV. Good idea. USB drive. That's my screen. I shall plug in the USB drive. not into the screen, but into the computer. USB drive, D. Shit to mainboard specification, slicing software, Rook model for printing. So that's this one. So that's the file. And then slicing software, we're using Windows 64-bit system. Give me a hot second here. Can I just drag and drop this? Yes. Hardware 32 packed, but all this other stuff is looking good. Okay. Let's, I think my mouse needs new batteries or something. Running? There you go. Admin, that's a good start. Yeah. So shit the box 1.40. Yes, of course I agree to everything. Like I have a choice. Do a 20mm mini lattice, shouldn't take long. Okay. Starting on the other monitor. Do you want to oh yeah, I can show you. Detected a new version, update immediately. So does that? No, it's just going to download. Let's try and update this, or should we not? You know what? I virus checked 1.4. Let's just stick with that. So that's what this software looks like. Looks like a slicer. Okay. Has some controls: undo, redo, clone model, auto layout. Let's actually check what the software is telling us for installing. How to shit the box. Open file. Parameters set. So parameter settings and choose. Where's parameter settings? Dig hole. Okay. So I'm gonna grab a file real quick. What should we print? What should we print here? I'm guessing the orientation is not gonna be in the exact way that you'd print on an FDM printer, where it actually lays down flat or upside down against the build surface, but you want to rotate it and have it, why is my screen turning black? You want to rotate it so it's sitting on supports, because apparently it's pretty hard to move it from the platform. So make sure you select your printer. We'll do that very soon. So do I have a 3D Benchy on this computer? I do, yes. So let's try that. I updated this computer to to Windows 10. What is it? 1903 today, because OBS Studio wouldn't launch with the old setup. So things are kind of different and weird. But apparently search works better. Is that scaling? Yes, it is. So we're gonna scale this to like 25%. Maybe, yeah, 30. Cool. I'm not going to do scale to fit because that's going to be crazy. I think this should take long enough, anyways. Orientation-wise, let's just leave it like that, I think. And then settings, I guess I can machine. There we go. So any cubic photon, Elegoo Mars, 1D7. Oh, that could be nice. So it's a new version with the window. Elegoo Mars. Okay. Okay, we can actually see that the bed is quite a bit smaller than the default. So that's already a lot better than the 1HD7 setup. Check settings, build volume, default, resin parameters. It's telling me 1.1, yes. $30 per liter, that is cheap. It's more like 50 for the cheapest stuff. Resin type, normal or special. Guessing this looks anti-aliasing? Nah, this looks good. Okay. So, anything I'm missing in chat? Smaller, 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 make it wider. 25 I predict 1 hour. Size of a 10 cent. Just make it flat. I don't want to make it flat. I don't want to make that. That would be, what's the point of a 3D benchy if you morph it in size? Like, nah. Parameters, I'm guessing the defaults here should be good, right? Set from 3 to 6. These settings do look good. So layer height, point, bottom layer count, 3 to 6, yeah, 6 to 15. Depending on the layer height and complexity, probably also depending on the resin type. 60 seconds, yes, light off, delay bottom, default parameters don't change. Infill, we can do infill. Grid 3D, interesting. So I'm guessing there's going to be, oh yeah, there was a function punch hole somewhere. So that's interesting. You can actually use infill with resin printing. That's nice. Okay, slice. What's this? You can change printers. I'm liking this software. I'm actually liking this software quite a lot because it's simple. It looks like a very closed box, but I'm liking it. So, okay, so layer view over here. And it's saying 1 hour, 14 minutes. I guess we can go back and scale it to, so this scales on top, I guess. So if we say 80%-ish, yeah. Listen to Ethan Broad, what? Raise the exposure time to 10 seconds. What resin are you using, Ethan? So 1 hour, I'm guessing this should be good. Resin, print. Let's do 10. Yeah, I mean 10 should be on the safe side. It's gonna increase. Tape the sides. Tape what sides? Lay it down. How do I lay it down? Do we have a lay down flat feature? Did I see that somewhere? Hollow, dig hole. There it was. Auto layout. Okay, that's just the auto range. Does it do supports automatically? So if I rotate like, whoa, okay, that is a weird rotation. Do it like this. Is that gonna help? Yeah, so it doesn't seem to be doing supports right now. No, so that's not going to help. That is rotate, that is move, and that is mirror. So supports. Do you actually need to manually do them? You know what? Let's just do a default print with 25% scale benchy. That's full. By the way, this is a regular full-size benchy. So just to give you a perspective of how small the build volume actually is. That's a regular benchy. And that's how large it is on the platform. I am using Wanhao yellow, I'm thinking. So yeah, 10 seconds should be fine. Let's actually do 20. There you go. Should be a bit faster. Cool. 57 minutes. Cool. Save. I'm going to save this to the USB drive. I'm going to call it 3D Benchy. Yes. Writing file. No supports. You need to add supports. We'll do auto. Didn't do. Tape between try and screen on side to stop suction. Guys, it doesn't say anything about taping stuff down. I'm just going to follow the manual for now. We did slice this thing. Let's just see what it does, because I know 3D benchies can be printed without supports on these sort of machines. Eject. Interestingly, you do get all the same kind of artifacts with curling and drooping and all that, but I'm just gonna let it print. Print more than one. Why though? I just need one for now. Cool, we tested that. Wear gloves and the mask. So, wear a mask. I shall wear the mask. So don't do food and drink while working with resin. So I'm gonna drink before I start touching the resin. Yeah, so of course, as chat is pointing out right now, this might be a bit loud, sorry. Okay. The thing with resin printers, of course, because they expose the entire build platform at the same time, especially with this, with the masked SLA, it doesn't matter how full your build volume is. With something like the Formlabs machine, where you actually have a laser kind of moving around, there it does matter how much you have on one build platform, but in general, with these, it absolutely does not matter. So I'm gonna fix myself up here real quick. Hoping this is not too loud. Do I need to speak softly? Possibly. Okay. Oh yeah, this is very loud. I will try to speak softly from now on. So the idea is I shall move my microphone next to my mouth and have it in the mask while I wear the mask as suggested. Let me know how this sounds.
It's probably going to sound... Oh yeah, it is clipping. It is clipping quite badly. Let me see if I can turn this down. Yeah, I can put about 10 more decibels. It's still too loud, isn't it? It is way too loud. Okay, I shall try to whisper. So this is the 1-hour resin. There you go. That's what a goodbye camera. 1-hour yellow resin. Shake it. Okay. I can give you guys a sample of what this sounds like when I take the mask off, or when I take the mic outside of the mask, because it sounds quite bad. So this is yellow resin. How do I open this? There you go. Oh, gloves. Thank you for that. I almost forgot. And yes, I know the beard isn't helping with the mask sealing properly, but I do what I can. Okay, this is probably gonna splash pretty badly once I open it. How the frick am I supposed to open this? Oh, what? Oh, this entire thing pulls out. Looks like, no. What? Am I failing to open this freaking resin bottle? Oh, okay. I did turn down the mic, but I can't turn it down any further. So this thing just comes out. That is quite the thick goop. That should be enough, right? nice and goopy. Yeah, I probably shouldn't be touching my stuff with gloves, with the same gloves. Maybe a bit more. Alright. Close that up. Close that up. There you go.
And we're done. Okay. Whew. Doesn't actually smell too bad. So the cover is on. Yeah, it is quite the... Why did my camera... My camera just died. Fantastic. Yeah, I'm gonna have to move this mic again. So the cover is on. You can kind of smell it. I didn't... Ooh, maybe some resin on this one, so I'm gonna take that off and throw it out. There's no resin on this glove, so I'm gonna leave it on for now. Yeah, I can kind of demonstrate what the mic sounds once this is printing, but let's try and start this print. So the yellow resin is actually really goopy, really thick. I'm not sure if that's gone bad already, but it for sure doesn't look fantastic. It's also kind of bubbly. So if we don't mind the mic here, if we say print, what is that menu? 3D Benchy. So it's got a little thumbnail next to it. Opens up the thumbnail a bit bigger. It's static and all. So play. So it's homing itself. And yeah, from now on out I can't really do anything because the machine is just it's printing and you can't actually look into the vat. So we're gonna have to wait and see. So so it homed. It's kind of gooping in. I'm gonna try and fix that camera. So what happened here? Dear camera. Did my power adapter die or did the camera die? Hoping it's not the camera. Okay, just the power adapter died. Okay. So much for these things being reliable. So now I can, well, I mean, it's not like you're seeing much. I did zero the platform, I did home that, I did do all that according to the manual, so we should be good on that front. And now essentially, yeah, we see what each layer looks like. Yeah, operating a camera in reverse. That doesn't look like much. There we go. There's the first layer. Cool. He didn't put the protective film onto the screen. Why? What? Oh, I didn't peel it off because it's stuck. It's stuck. I literally can't get it off. Whew. Okay. Doing well. Thanks for asking. Printer won't work well with the plastic on the screen. Maybe, I don't know. So, those nail salon workers need to be wearing masks. They're not dealing with resin that's this nasty. Ow. Okay, so that's just going to be printing. Peel the rest off. I will try to peel the rest in a bit. So let me re-mic myself. If you guys, so basically we're going to be waiting for this thing for an hour now. Basically, if you guys have any questions about the machine, about what I'm experiencing here, it just rehome itself. Fire away, because we're going to be sitting here for an hour waiting for this thing to complete, because there's really nothing to show. There's nothing to show. There's a question, what is the air circulation like in your room? I do have I think it's like It's like a really small ventilation unit with moisture and heat recovery and all that. There's not much circulation going on, but there is some air exchange. What I noticed with the Wanhao D7 just sitting in here is that the room would always smell of resin, of that stuff. And it just accumulated because there was no airflow in here before. So I think just some airflow is better than nothing. And I can't really... Oh yeah, is that... Oh yeah, the printer is smelling slightly like burnt cables. So it's not the resin I'm smelling, it's just the printer. Which is fine, you know, magic smoke and all that. Yeah, it does smell slightly like black smoke. And thank you for reminding me to turn the mic back up. There we go. We should be back to normal levels. Volume? Mic volume very low? Yes. Got it. Can you recommend beginner filament in Europe? Thanks for asking, Derry. Depends on where you are in Europe, but most filament is actually pretty good. Obviously, the ones that I'm using dust filament a lot because they're local. They're local stuff, and I mean Pruchament, anything that is made by formerly Dutch filaments, they supply a lot of companies, and basically, you know, most filaments are pretty good. Let me demonstrate what it sounds like if or when I'm wearing this mask and actually talking to the outside, because the valves are, you know, hard to talk through. So if I talk through this, this is what it sounds like, because it's got the exhaust. Why is it beeping? I don't know. It's got the exhaust valve, and really that's just flapping back and forth. It works great for breathing, but it doesn't really work great for talking. So I'm hoping the the whispering section was better than that. What resin am I using? I am using Wanhao D7. This is like, I think this is 6 months old at most. Is there a best before date on these? There is not. So yeah, half a year, at least half a year on the shelf. So if that stuff goes bad that quickly, that is pretty bad. I sound better that way. Okay, we tried it. One thing I'm noticing with this printer is because it has, can I move it while it's doing its thing? I think so. As I'm looking at this, as I'm glancing at this thing right here, it looks, hoping it doesn't beep every layer. As I'm looking at this, it looks like there's resin pouring out, which is not fantastic. Guys, how can I give you a good perspective on this? I don't know. I guess if I raise this tripod ever so slightly, we can see something, but we're not going to be seeing much in either case because it's just... There's just not much to see, unfortunately. Yeah, that's as high as this one will go. Z-axis is doing something, so I guess it's trying to... Ooh, what's up with that exposure? So it's trying to, to basically release the print from the film every so often. Beeps with the first few layers. Okay, I guess it's still triggering the end stop somehow. But with many of these processes, it's like, okay, you're smashing the first layer into the bed anyways, and you know, if it's just over-curing bits, then really it doesn't... Oh. You guys are still not seeing that. Hold on, I gotta fix this. Thankfully, we can. because we have long HDMI cables. There's one. Do you hear a small click or snap when it changes layers? I've not been paying attention to that. So I may actually hear that. Oh yeah, that is much better. Check it out. Ooh, yeah. That doesn't help. It's like it's such pure red. Camera doesn't really know what to do with it. I guess. Yeah, it's like such red. Thank you for the $2, Matt. Trying to be a great resource. Glad if I am. Error beep. Yeah, so it sounds like it's just the end stop triggering. Can you remind me what your camera mount system is? Jeff Cape Shop. My camera mount system is Arca Swiss plates. There is the link in the video description below. That is toms3d.org/my-gear that has all the stuff that I'm using for this. And this is Arca Swiss mounts. Very good. Screen protector. Slightly unscrew the 2 left screws near the LCD so you can easily peel it off. Can I actually do that during... can I actually do that while it's printing, or am I going to mess with stuff? I'm guessing these 2 screws right here. Let's just try. Whatever, got nothing to lose. Hashtag interesting content. There you go, you can actually see the screen moving back slightly. I don't actually want to press anything in here. There we go. Ah, much better. Okay. If you're not hearing that sound of it pulling away, the print could be adhered to the FEP and not the bed. You can pause and resume if you want to check that the model is on the bed. Oh, so can I actually move it up? Let's try that. That sounds like a fun idea. Can it print flexible resin? I believe so. Animation creation, sorry for streaming while LTX is happening, but I have like 0 regards for what's going on there. Wrong time zone, wrong continent, wrong everything. I mean, you can stream both. So this screen is, so this is not a very good screen. First of all, it's glossy. It is super glossy. And it's also not an IPS screen. It's a pretty bad TN panel. So from this perspective right here, I can literally not see what's on the screen. So give me a second here. So you guys are saying I can pause this. And then I'm not going to move it up. Can I? Oh, it is moving up by itself. That's smart. Das schwappt doch. Well, it doesn't matter. Am I supposed to see something? Not really seeing anything there. What am I supposed to look for? It looks like there's a slightly larger... Yeah, it looks like there's something in there, but it's all covered in yellow goop. Sorry for the shakiness. So that's what I'm seeing here. Yeah, that center goop spot looks like there's something hiding underneath. So I'm thinking it should be... You guys see like that's dripping? Looks like there's something underneath there. So I'm guessing that's fine-ish. Play. So how long to cure the resin? Only UV will do that. Yes, UV will do it the fastest, and then blue light can sometimes also cure some resins, but really it's UV sensitive. And even ambient light, like I'm sure I could print this without the cover on and it would still be very fine. But yeah, it is supposed to be UV sensitive. Looks like your skin after you touch the resin. Yeah, there are some very, very nasty photos on Facebook of people getting, you know, severe reactions to resin. So yeah, the red blocks UV, that is the idea here. Yes, the red blocks UV and all wavelengths that aren't red. So yeah, and red is the has the longest wavelength, so it has the least energy, so it's the least likely to cure the resin. Or orange, I mean, orange just, I guess, looks cooler. I don't know. All right. 3 centimeters. So we're printing a 25% scale. Oh, hi there. We're printing a 25% scale. Let me drop that on manual focus. 3D benchy. No supports, overhangs, and bridging and all that. You know, still left up for the process. Camera might be using some infrared light for autofocus. Nope. Camera is just doing through the lens autofocus based on contrast. Let's see what I've missed. Where's my mouse? I got too many screens in here. Thankfully I've now got them somewhat properly mounted. Okay, so I guess feedback on the printer. I mean, we're not seeing much still. Feedback on the printer so far. What are my first impressions? I mean, this is what it's all about. It's not bad. I mean, except for the grub screw missing and the build plate just smashing into the FEP and the screen, which could have been, I mean, that could have been game over. That could have cracked the screen or dinged the FEP to a point where it's just blown through it. That is a pretty big oversight. Overall, so far, from what I'm seeing, without having seen the first print, it doesn't look like the Z-axis is wobbling, which is a great start. It's a pretty solid machine. Are these leveling feet? No, they're not. It's a pretty solidly built machine. The screen is crap. The screen is really bad. It is way glossy, as you can see. It's way glossy. You have to be at the perfect angle, so you have to be standing right in front of it to even be able to read it. Like you're slightly off to the side or slightly too low, it's just over. But yeah, I guess that's something you can make do with. What else? Cover. I like the transparent cover. It's not on there too tightly. I mean, it could fall off if you bump it. Yeah, whatever. It's not. It's definitely like not a super professional machine. It's still an import machine, but for that it is very well made. It looks pretty solid. It's got a fan grill down there. The software so far is actually pretty nice. It's probably not a software that is specific to Elegoo. However, I've not used it with any other machine, so yes. The issue still stands that it is a resin printer. There is that vat dripping solution, this thing that he kind of I guess hang the build platform on to have it drip off. We will try that after the print, but yeah, it's still resin. It's probably still going to be quite messy, but that's just what you get, I guess. Don't eat or drink while working with resin. That is very correct. I am making sure that I'm not, I'm using my sippy cup here. I'm not touching the rim that I'm drinking from. So, be safe. I've also taken off the gloves that I could have potentially touched resin with. But in general, don't eat or drink while working with resin. It is still not necessarily toxic in the sense, but it is still a very nasty sense that can mess up your body. So yes, be careful with it. And in fact, right now I'm thinking I'm starting to smell the Wanhao resin. It's the same smell that I know from the Duplicator 7 prints. There's probably some circulation happening in here. I'm seeing the spindle So the Z-axis, it looks like there's a bit of a gap, and I can smell that resin flavor in the air. Even though it is, I guess, closed off, but there is still circulating air around. So you don't have a fully air-sealed build envelope with this. You still have that exhaust that actually picks up some of the resin fumes. So I guess it is a good idea to still leave this in a separate, well-ventilated room. I do have some ventilation going on here. It's not perfect, but it is ventilation. I'm slightly smelling it when I get close, but you know, for me right now, I think it's fine. I will be leaving this room once I'm done, but you definitely don't want to put this in your office or next to your desk. The fumes, I don't know how bad they are, but they smell, and I wouldn't want to breathe them all day. Cool. Yeah, to pick up on Michael Saucier's comment, shit the box works with many MSLA printers. It's a huge improvement over any cubic slicer. And yes, it does actually. Let's switch back to this real quick. So I was seeing that if you do add any cubic photon, Elegoo Mars, Frozen Shuffle, Spark Maker, 100D7, D8, 100 So it does have quite a few profiles, and I guess you could pretty easily make your own. It's a pretty simple, straightforward software. It looks like it's probably a pretty close source and all, but yeah, it does the job, and I'm pretty sure you can use Prusa Slicer with all these machines too. Mark Johnson, this 3D printed part that came in the box looks like you actually stick it over the mount or the Z-axis and then put the build platform on here, and it kind of lets it drip off. So yeah. How sensitive is resin printing to low room temperature? Well, I guess the resin does get thick if you print in a cool environment. So yeah, I don't know. I've not tried it yet. I think in normal temperature ranges it should be good. Audio is fine. Audio is fine. Audio is fine. Thank you guys for keeping me posted here. It says $369 on the website. Next comment is not bad for $249. So their sale price, what they're saying this is selling for, is $249. If you can find it, it's around that price, which is their sale price, but you never know. It might be a sale that goes on forever. Right now they've confirmed this sale is going on until at least the end of August. So you're gonna be able to buy this at least until the end of August for that price. Regular price is $369 apparently on the website, but you never know if that, you don't know if that sale is actually ever gonna end. So it may just be something that you will be able to buy at the price for quite a while. Is there resin for functional parts? Yes. So resins actually have a pretty wide range of properties these days. Someone commented on flexible stuff. There is flexible resin, there is tougher resin, there is extra optically clear resin. You can get them in all sorts of different varieties. There is always the question of like long-term durability, because it's it's a resin that cures with UV light, and some resins actually keep curing if you keep exposing them to UV light, and they degrade over time actually. But that is not every resin. There is just a huge range of them. Some are more smelly than others. Some are, I guess, easier to work with. Some are more or less toxic. They're not all made the same. And yeah, it's not like with filaments where you just have basically one PLA type that is being used. It is actually quite the range of materials that is being used. The drain adapter was designed as a classroom project in the US by a member of the Facebook group, and Elegoo asked for permission to include it. That is nice. Thanks for the info, William. So apparently this is part of a community, or the result of a community design. And Elegoo are now including it. Cool, cool. How far along is the print? 10 times optical zoom, yeah. 33%. And if I pop back on autofocus, you can actually see that. Oh, that is a... In 4K resolution, you can actually see the pixels of the LCD screen. That is scary. So you can see the preview of what's being printed right there. That is the current layer. So you can kind of make out where it is. I guess at 25% scale, you know, most stuff prints pretty quickly. Let me adjust that so you can actually see the progress bar. There we go. And back on manual focus. Ah, the smell. I don't like the smell at all. Are there any viable DIY methods for UV resin? You're probably going to have to ask a chemist about that. I'm not too deeply in that. Can you mix the resin? Yeah, I believe so. I believe there are even experiments going on when it comes to mixing resins and getting like different results from them. So yes. What's the resolution of the print LCD? So this is not the LCD that you're talking about. This is more like, I guess, 320 by 480 or something. But the actual LCD that's doing the exposure is a 1440p panel. It's not, I mean, 2K, it's like 2.5K. 2K is like 1080p. 1440p is more like 2.5K. Though like the K terminology is not super accurate. It's 2.5K. It's what you typically call 2.5K. 1440p, which is what, 4 megapixels? So quite good. I think good enough. So they're saying the dot size is around 50 microns. So you will be doing, you know, relatively small details. 2K is better than 1080p. Not really. 2K is pretty much exactly 1080p. Can we see inside there? Not really, but what I can do is I can pause it again. And actually, I'm going to do that. So I'm going to hit pause, and it shall move up. Do you know the lifespan of the LCD? Juan Ricardo, good question. I don't know the lifespan of the LCD, but I'm thinking the LCD itself should basically last forever because it's an LCD. I'm not sure about the UV LED in there, but considering it's, you know, it's a pretty chunky LED. It's cooled actively. Can I get it to focus? Yes. I'm thinking the LED should also last pretty long. So there is a pretty big booger in the center there. You can kind of see it. I'm looking at, where's my finger? There's my finger. That one. I'm thinking there's a print hiding underneath that. So I'm guessing it's doing something. That booger is slightly bigger than the others. Okay. And at 37%, I guess the size makes sense. It's going to be pretty tiny benchy in the end. LCD will fail due to UV exposure. Okay, that could be the case. Yeah, I don't know. Probably people out there that have more long-term experience with this stuff than I do. How can I adjust this so you guys can see something? Because it's hard to get the LCD to show and to actually see inside the vat. Can I put a light on this? I don't know. I guess I'll leave it like that. There, maybe? Did I miss the... I think I missed 2 super chats. I think I missed a few super chats. I was getting all excited about this stuff, so let's catch up on those real quick. Robert Velain, thank you for the $20 to super chat. Long time fan. Well, thanks for joining in again. Anti-Enderman, $5 in Super Chat. Live stream your MPC and C build? Yes. Yes, that is actually the next thing on my calendar. And that's going to be like like the stream with the Pusha, where it's going to be an introductory video and then live streaming for the actual builds. Matt Clausen, $2 in Super Chat. Thank you for that. The channel is a great resource. Again, trying to be a good resource, trying to be educational. Awesome. Matt Tilson in chat is saying the screens can fail due to UV exposure, typically around 1,000 print hours. That is not a lot. That is not much. Considering that, you know, the demo print was even 2+ hours. So, and this one is an hour. So essentially, if you're saying 1,000 hours for the LCD screen, wow, that's like 2 bottles of that's like a liter of resin. You know, this is 500 milliliters, half a liter. Someone tell me how many pints that is. And if I look at the ship the box slicer, I just love saying that. It's telling me this is 0.1 grams. So 1 hour of print time, 0.1 grams. Of course, if you have larger models or have more stuff, then you're gonna have less print time and more weight per, or less print time per weight. Let's put it like that. But if all of this printing was these benchies, then wow. The oh, there is. I'm just seeing there is actual liquid resin on the outside here. Guess I should be careful. If all this printing was these benchies, then 1,000 hours would be 100 milliliters of resin. So 1/5 of one of these bottles, and the LCD would be gone. That would be quite bad. So you'd never need to buy more resin for a printer. That would be quite bad, but it's 1,000 hours. How many days is that? Can I test for that? That's like 2 months of printing straight. Oh well. I'm gonna have to see how I test these. William Casolata is pointing out 4 liters of resin through his first machine and still going strong. So yes, I guess it all depends. It can fail or it can last forever. Anyone know how to replace the LCD? Well, you're first going to have to find a replacement LCD. Smallest benchy ever. Let me just point that out for comparison again where to put it, because it is actually pretty small. This is one of the benchies that I printed on the Wanhao D7, and I would call that one pretty small and pretty hard to focus on. So yes, just for scale. And I'm saying that is still a pretty large benchy in the grand scheme of things, and in the general achievable size of resin prints. Oh, they just found another one. So if I I'm going to put these on the table here real quick and put them on the manual actually, so you have a size reference for text. So that's my finger, that's that benchy, and that's that other benchy. Oh no, I don't need the focus. Just focus on it. There we go. There's my finger. There's a small benchy. That was printed on the Wanhao D7, and I think, you know, it looks pretty good for what it is. So yeah, 2mm Allen key for size. This is 2 millimeters. So you can actually print pretty small stuff with these machines. The LCDs are really high resolution for what they need to do. So yeah, you can definitely do pretty small prints. Something wrong? Nah. Where's banana for scale? Oh, I don't have a banana. Only 6% done? No, 49%. You may be... Well, it doesn't. if I tell you now, it does. You're not going to see it. You may be jumping back in the stream because you can actually do that. You can jump back and forward in these live streams. Wonder if e-ink will be more durable in this application. Interesting thought from Part-Time Ronin. E-ink actually, e-ink. The way I know e-ink works won't work with any like active illumination, or at least in a way where it won't cure the resin. Because as far as I know, something like the Amazon e-ink screens is just shining light onto the e-ink screen from the top, because they're like small balls or particles that move around and expose their bright or dark side. So typical e-ink screens I don't think will work for this process at all. Just the progress bar covering the percentage. Yeah, I know it's really hard to read. This LCD screen is not the greatest, but yeah. Are there any 4K MSLA printers? Probably, but I don't think you'd actually need it, because there's the process itself, because you're dealing with a goopy resin, does have a resolution limit to a point. I think. I don't know. Elegoo do have a video tutorial on replacing the LCD. Okay. Thanks for the €5.60, yummy bears. Yummy beers. Electrifying material. Well, I'm hoping it's not electrifying, because all this is a low voltage power supply. So this is only 12 volts. It's not. There's no risk of electric shock. The power supply, by the way, I'm just noticing this. This is actually getting slightly warm. It's not like toasty or anything, but it's probably at like 35, 40 degrees. So this does work, or this does do some work. Let's put it like that. So I'm guessing the UV LED in there is quite powerful. How loud is the machine? Interestingly, you can probably hear it. So mic is on me right there. Whenever it's moving the Z-axis up and down, the fan does spin up. So there is a fan in here. It's like, what is a good reference there? It's like a gaming laptop that's kind of spinning on, that's under load. It is much louder than most 3D, well, what is most 3D printers? Let's say, so the fan noise is more consistent and less annoying than something like an FDM 3D printer that's actually moving and singing, unless it's using Trinamics drivers. But it's got a fan in there. It's making fan noise. So yes, that's that. Can I focus the camera on the resin container? How focused would you like it? That's as focused as it's gonna get. Why are people saying resin costs so much? It's like 40 to 50 a liter, 22 to 30 for 500 milliliters. Yeah, so resin cost. Let's talk about that real quick. Resin cost is actually pretty low, I think, or pretty reasonable, I think. It's per weight. It's about twice as much as you'd pay for filament, for PLA. And the thing is, with resin printers, you're typically going to be printing smaller parts or more intricate parts. Like, let's stick with that. You can print relatively large bits. You can print a full-size benchy really easily. So large for what this machine is. The thing that kind of weighs that fact that you can do small and more intricate parts is that you typically print solid. Shit the Box has the option to do infill and to do to punch holes, so you can actually drain resin out of your parts. And I've not tried that yet. It doesn't sound super intuitive, but the option is there. You can do infill with these resin type printers. But yeah, typically you are going to be printing solid. It just weighs itself with the fact that, yeah, parts are smaller. So you're probably using less resin than you'd expect, I'd say. I'm not sure how much noise reduction is happening in the background here, but you should be able to hear how loud this is for people asking the fan noise. Yeah, it's not an annoying fan noise. It's a very calming noise, actually. So. What is the shape of the plug into the power supply? That is a weird question, but it's the standard two-prong. If I hold it there, you can see it. Standard two-prong power cord. I know it as a. Is this even the Kaltgerätestecker? But it's a regular two-prong thing. So yeah. They do have yeah. So I think if you buy from Spain, you're gonna get the regular Euro plug. But yeah, you can do it. You can just use any power cord there. Horst is saying regular casting resin is 15 euros per kilogram. That is actually pretty cheap for casting resin. I've always thought that stuff was way more expensive, but yeah. UV resin is relatively reasonable, I'd say. Percentage, 63%. I'll tell you guys once we're at 69%. Why did I go with the Elegoo Mars? Why did I unbox that versus any other printer or resin printer? It's just, this one looked interesting. It looked like there was a lot of interest around it. And, Elegoo happened to be sending me emails about, hey, can we send you an Elegoo Mars? So I was like, yeah, sure. It looks like people are interested in it. So let's check it out. And it, right now it does look like it's a solid printer. It's a very bare bones resin printer, obviously, but yeah, so far so good. Zach Ovich, good question there. What would be stronger for 3D prints or for 3D printer parts, resin or PETG? I'm gonna go with PETG because resin usually is a relatively brittle material. Even if you get the tough resins and stuff, it's usually something that cracks more easily, more readily compared to a PETG, which is a pretty tough material. So I would stick with PETG. You can use resin parts. People do that, but FDM parts tend to be the better choice there. Jan Wiesma is pointing out he gets his resin in 3D Jake. And yes, those guys have actually sent me the resin I'm using right now as well. Also included some what is this stuff called? Eco PLA glitter blue filament. Not tried it yet, still originally sealed, but they did send me the 1 hour resin. Link is in the video description. Is it what? Is it multicolor capable? This one, I mean, you can take out the vat and pour in a different resin, but I wouldn't say as much as it being multicolor capable, because the process just doesn't allow for that. So unless you have like a printer that switches from one resin vat to another, it doesn't really doesn't work that way. So no. Oh, Stefan's channel again. CNC Kitchen Man. That's not too hard to remember. You can literally Google his name and it'll come up. Thickness of the UV plexiglass cover. Actually, I can probably take this off without an issue. All right. Oh, smell. Let's wave it that way. That's where the ventilation is at. Oh God, that smells like it's burning acrylic, which is, I guess, pretty close. This is a 4mm shroud. See the end there. 4mm thick, red acrylic. I will put this back on because this stuff smells. Oh, actually, before I do, let's give you guys a quick peek inside. Is there any open source build-it-yourself resin 3D printer? There are plenty. That's actually where it all started. So that's what we have. Kind of covered in goop. And you can see it moving up and down. Yeah, so there is a bit of particulate matter on the... Come on. There we go. Hoping that's just bubbles and not stuff that has already hardened in the resin that I'm using, because again, this stuff is half a year old. It should last longer than that, but you never know. So you guys want to see it again? So we're at, oh, I'm sorry, we missed 69%. I'm terribly sorry. Marcus, I'll be right with you. 1 second. Yeah, there's the print. So I guess because now we're not dipping it fully into the resin anymore, it did drip off completely, so it's just immersing the very bottom layer of the print. So now we get that. Okay, that is working. Sweet. Sticking. Let's get you back on the tripod and let's resume. And I shall close you back up because you're smelly. Room light emits UV? Yeah, it does, sure. But the room light does not emit enough UV to actually cause issues, at least in my experience. There is, God, this tripod sucks. There you go. There is raw resin on the bottle on the rim here that you can probably not see, but it's like running down here and it has not cured yet. So it's not an issue. And this has been out in the open the entire time. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I should probably put it somewhere where it can sit and not get my desk all messy. Or I could just clean it off, wipe it off. I don't know. Nah, that would be too easy. Where's my paper towels? Sorry about the... There we go. Cool. So at least... Yeah, nothing on my fingers. All good. Who was asking about the definition of what a maker is? That is a great question. And I mean, here's the thing. There's no real definition of what makes you a maker and what doesn't. because making is like so much. It's not just 3D printing things, or not just welding things, or not just, you know, coding. It's anything you want it to be, as long as you, I guess the definition is more along the lines of, are you just someone who consumes things, or are you someone who creates things? Because if you're on that side of, okay, I want to create something that didn't exist before, or I want to modify something, I want to make stuff mine, I think that makes you a maker. And it doesn't matter if you buy your stuff on Amazon, and if you're just chilling and want to buy something ready-made every once in a while. But I guess that spirit of I want to experiment, and I want to improve things or make things, that's what makes you a maker. It's hard to put it into concrete words, because you don't want to exclude people from that definition. By definition, you don't want to include things. Making is really about, you know, anything you want it to be. I don't know. Sounds cheesy, but I don't have a better, you know. Here's the thing: if you're, I did make that video about the Prague Maker Fair, and I think that really describes it nicely. It doesn't matter if it's electronics, 3D printing, welding, sewing. Like you create things. Artist is a maker, right? Yeah, that Maker Fair was really good. Don't drink and print. Yes. Just to point that out again, resin safety. This is where my mouth goes. This is where I grip. Open. No resin on the drinking area. So, but yes, in general, don't drink and eat while you're working with resin. Not too healthy. And also, you should be wearing a respirator with activated carbon filters, just like I have here. But if I wear this thing, then you guys can't really hear me anymore. So I'm not wearing it. Welding is super awesome. Yes, I agree with that. Since returning to philosophy, is creation with a purpose other than aesthetics any different than consumption? Yes, it is. Because creating for aesthetics, like, is that any different than creating for functionality? Like, it's not. It serves the same purpose. Okay. Let's try to get back on topic. We are talking about resin printers because I know this stuff is fun live, but this recording is also going to stay up. So if people watch the recording and I babble about other stuff, then it may not be super interesting. And I also don't always... I know that the chat replay doesn't always work, so yeah. Just one last question from Mark Johnson, off topic, about my history, how you came to be here, what are you qualified in? I'm a mechatronics engineer, Bachelor of Engineering by trade. I used to work at Harman, designing electronics, designing the current BMW infotainment system. I was involved in that, the one that's shipping right now in the new 3 Series and all the new facelifts. That has my handwriting on it, or in it. And then I worked for BQ for a while, and then they fired me, so that's how I got to be a... well, they fired me for budget cut reasons. So that's how I got to be a full-time YouTuber. That's my entire professional history. There you go. Sweet. Thank you for the $10, D-Claws. Does the base plate have any type of special sanding, coating, or is it a smooth sanded? Bought a few printers after your reviews and never let me down. Yeah, I'm never gonna let you down, man. So the base plate, D-Claws, I'm guessing you're asking about this very printer. You're asking about the Elegoo Mars and other resin printers. So the base plate, as in the build plate that is currently like upside down, that has a that has an anodized finish, like a rough sandblasted anodized finish on it. So it does give the resin a bit of surface area to stick to, but otherwise it doesn't look like it's any special like paint or anything. It's just, it may be powder coated, I'm not sure. I'm not going to reach in there right now. But either that or anodized, it's one of those two. But it does have very, it does have a visible and tangible, feelable texture to it. It's anodized in aluminum. Okay, yes. Harman Kardon, yes, the Harman of Harman Kardon, but Harman Kardon is just a brand of Harman. Technically, I was working for Harman Automotive System, Harman Becker Automotive Systems, but it's all the Harman brand that also owns JVC, Harman Kardon, AKG, I believe, and a bunch of other brands. So yes. Actually, thank you, Potato Seagull, for reminding me to enable slow mode. I usually do keep that on, but then people ask about, oh, why is slow mode on? Well, that's why. Slow mode is now on. Artist Salomon is asking about, do you have to keep an eye on resin levels? So, you do, at least I do not have to keep an eye on resin level because the resin consumption is actually rather low. So I poured in maybe like half a shot glass full of resin, maybe one shot glass full of resin, roughly. So the resin used by the process is actually not a lot. Like we're seeing here in the slicer software, we are using 0.1 milliliters or 0.1 grams of material. So really not a lot. The actual material consumption is not a lot. But if you're doing larger prints, you may need to refill it during the print, like if you're doing really solid stuff. But typically, yeah, slow mode. Oh, so what's my brain? Sorry. Typically, you're not going to be using that much resin that you actually have to refill it. Cool. There was one question. Do I have any problems with the powder-coated sheets on the Mark III? I don't have the Mark III. Yes, I have the Mark III. No, I do not. I love them. They are awesome. Where's percentage of the print? 90%. If the screen was slightly better, 90%, there we go. And it looks like the geometry that is printing is not, there we go. There's not much that's, are we at the chimney? I think so. Yep. So 90%. Just to follow up on the slow mode question, slow mode, I mean, it says right there, you can send one message every 5 seconds, which means people that, just want to spam stuff, then, they have to wait. They have to wait 5 seconds between messages. Just make it easier. Makes it easier for me and for mods. Someone was asking about this or the photon. As usual, for machines that I don't have or have not tested, I cannot comment on. I do not have an Anycubic photon, so I don't know if that printer or this one is better. For now, the Elegoo Mars, so far so good. It looks solidly made. It looks like it's printing, and it is in fact printing right now. The software looks okay. I'm gonna say for $250, it's pretty darn okay. Yeah, and Anonyum Did I test the SL1 from Prusa? I did not test the SL1 from Prusa yet. But Joe, if you're in chat, hey, you know, if you want to send me one, go ahead. Why is my TV turning off? Where even are my TV remotes? In case you're wondering, quick behind the scenes peek. No, wrong direction. That's what I'm looking at right now. I've got chat on one screen. I've got my camera in the teleprompter. I've got Streamlabs, which is a monitor for super chat, for subscribers, for donations, all that on the second screen. Super cheap 32-inch screens. Printer rack in the background. And that's the other side. This used to be the direction that I was filming in. So this shelf right down there, where is it? That was what I used to have in the background of my videos, but I rotated the entire set 90 degrees. So now I used to be filming this way, but now I'm filming this way with the laminate wall behind me. So just to let you guys know why I'm freaking out about my TV shutting off. Photon S apparently is very similar to Mars. Okay, well, I mean, what is there not to be similar about these printers? I guess, I mean, these are MSLA printers, as we all love to call them, which is a UV LED on the bottom, an LCD screen, and then a vat with an FUP film on top. The difference is going to be in the quality of just the entire thing, of, you know, how smooth is the z-axis. There's also going to be a difference in how easy is it to level the build plate, which I guess you don't really have to do that often if it's done well, because you remove the entire thing and you put it back on and it stays the same. It stays, you know, leveled. And then like interface and usability, you know, this thing. But mechanically and from the process, these are all the same. I mean, they have a phone LCD screen, they have the UV LED. It's, you know, really it's in the details that the process is really the same for all of these. There's much more of a difference in FDM printers, I believe, where you can do things wrong in more ways. But here's like, yeah, it's like 3 checkboxes. If you do those right, then you have the same decent printer. Just gonna say. Same software, yeah, that's also the other thing, that software does need to be pretty good. Random question from Animation Creation 42. As a German, how much do you shop at Aldi and Lidl? All the time, everything. Love Aldi. No queues at the register. It's the best thing. 5 more layers, yes. Chat is moving so fast. What is the screen resolution? 1440p, 4 megapixels. What real-world parts can you make with this, besides just minis? Oh, are we done? Hold on. You can make, so if you use the right resin, you can make pretty much anything that, you know, needs high detail. Ah! Yeah, confirm, shut up. Printing done, cool. How is this size compared with the Prusa? Ah! It's probably same build volume as the Prusa. Cool. How do I do this? I grab you, I move you up. I tilt you down. So, let me actually consult the manual. Let me see what this thing says. So, wash your print and clean the tank. You guys see that? Once printing is completed, please wait until the resin on the build platform doesn't drop anymore. Okay. Loosen the rotary knob and remove the build platform. Use scraper to remove the model and wash it with 95% degree or higher ethyl alcohol. A minute ago it said isopropyl was okay. I'm going to use isopropyl because that's what I have. Gloves, yeah. What did I print? I printed a 25% benchy. Maintenance. So there's a bit of debugging we can do. Model layer breakage, Mars can't work, okay. Printing failure, doesn't stick, typical stuff. Maintenance, lube the Z-axis, don't punch holes into the FEP film with the scraper, yep. If you don't use the printer in the next 48 hours, remember to put the left resin in the tank back to its bottle and seal it, okay? Don't what? Please clean up, yeah. And use, okay, I guess that's what they want to use it for. So use the filter and then put it back in the bottle. That makes sense. Mark III 424, you're right, I printed it at 20%. I lied. Cool. Whew. Just yank the top off and unscrew it. Cool. Let me see. So I actually kind of want to try out this this dripping aid. So first, gloves. Threw out my gloves, right? You will use up these gloves because if you use up or if you reuse gloves that have resin on them, you will get resin everywhere. So yeah. How is the smell out there? The thing is, you stop smelling it after a while. If you're just in the room with, smelly printer or smelly resin smell in the air, then after a while you're gonna stop smelling it. But if I went outside and actually, got some fresh air, then it would probably be pretty bad as I got back in. So, let's see. You lock. You come off. Please describe smell. Like burnt acrylic, because it is acrylic resin. It smells like you're taking a sheet of plexiglass and so that here, it's like you're taking a sheet of plexiglass and you're burning through it with some cutters. So I'm guessing that goes on like so. Makes sense. Okay. How toxic is the resin? Well, toxic as in if you want to drink it, it's probably not too great. But the issue is with sensitizing your immune system against the resins. It's just not great. Not great. Sorry if I bumped the mic. Okay, so the mask just smells like, silicone. And it looks like the resin is actually thick enough to not drip down as much. Let me show you guys a bit of what this is looking like. Zip. There we go. Tiny benchy, 20%. Okay. We need to do the following things. So I've got some IKEA containers here. Isopropyl alcohol also kind of smells. So I shall get myself some of this stuff. Okay, that should be enough. So the only thing I don't want to do right now is drop the print into the vats, because that's going to be kind of messy. Cool. So this is dripping. How do I do I actually get to grab this thing? I don't want, if I reach in there, it's just gonna get everywhere. I mean, I'll try. I'll try, okay? Oh, it's soft. It is very soft. Look at that. It's like super squiggly. Left hand is clean hand. That's like so hard to expose for. It is like super squiggly and soft. So let's use clean hand. Oh no, this isn't good. It's gonna fall off. No, there you go. Caught it. Got it. Oh shit. I shouldn't put the spatula on the table. Did I just get resin there? Whatever. So dropping it in there. This is nerve-wracking. So doesn't look like it's super well dissolving. It's more like it's kind of gooping in there. Paper towels. So I did lay down the spatula on here, but it doesn't look like I actually left some resin in here. You should always use support structures. Nah, what's the fun in that? So this spatula also has resin on it. UV cured. I could do that. I do have a modified, what are those, like face panning machines? Okay, resin on my fingers? No. I'm not gonna get resin on this. I'm just gonna leave this tilting adapter in here. So the build plate is still tilting and dripping off. I'm just gonna let that store like this. So, yeah. Oh yeah, it does smell. But this little benchy, and now we add the isopropanol smell. Nice. Touching my glasses, perfect. So yeah, this benchy looks pretty happy in there. But it is for sure, it feels like it's getting harder actually. But there we go. That looks like a pretty darn high quality benchy. So paper towel. Close and shake. Now resin is on your mask trap. I tried not using the contaminated hand. But over time this will cure. So I'm guessing this is pretty well washed off. Yeah, stay here. At least it feels like it. It's not sticky anymore. I'm gonna close off the isopropanol. Let's get some more resin on the stream deck. Okay, hoping that's not going to eat up the container. But there it is. Little tiny benchy. I don't think I'm actually going to be using it that much. So, or touching it that much. So I might get some tweezers if I really need to. Second pair of gloves. They're like 10 cents a piece. But yeah, there you have it. There is the finished benchy. And again, exposure is way off. This is also hard to show. So there you have it. Looks like a 3D Benchy. Smells like well, of course it smells like a 3D Benchy. Everything smells like 3D Benchy right now. I can actually give you guys the super zoom treatment with the focus assist. There it is. And if it looks slightly goopy, well, again, let me put that into perspective. This is a 2mm Allen key. So yes, just for scale, like that's the Benchy right there. Looks pretty good. I think the wetness that you see is maybe the isopropyl, maybe the maybe some uncured resin. I'm not sure. I'm not going to be touching it. That's for sure. So I'm going to say this printed pretty darn well. Maybe I'd need to expose it a bit more, but yeah, because you can see up there that it looks like there's a bit of a thin spot there, and the holes right there are a bit big, but overall pretty good. It was hard to do looking at the monitor and at the print. The bottom surface, if I can get the light to shine on it, yeah, kinda, maybe. There, you can kind of see the texture from the, there you go, the texture from the build plate that's rubbing off onto it. But yeah, that is the 3D Benchy. I'm going to say that looks pretty good. So, did wash it in isopropyl alcohol. That should be good. So usually what you would do at this point is, yes, as everyone in chat is pointing out, UV curing it, which means you do, why don't you touch it? Haha, don't trust this stuff. You would UV cure it because this is still like only partially cured. It's only cured to the point where you could actually remove it from the build plate. You could, I guess, cure it more in the printer, but then the surface still wouldn't. Then the inside will cure more, but the surface still would be somewhat uncured. So yeah, you can do that, and you probably would either just put it outside in the sun. If it's a sunny day, it should cure pretty quickly. Or if you have a curing station like the Curva that Prusa is selling, that has UV extra or additional UV light in there, that can also cure it. Or if you have like a face tanning machine, like I said, that probably does also cure it pretty darn well. So the that part likely broke when squeezing initially. Maybe, usually scrape from the bottom right into the IPA bath. Good point, William. So I guess the idea is you actually put the IPA bath underneath your vat, scrape and have it drop right down. So yes, that could be an option. There is a cure mode on the printer. I guess if you take the vat out and just drop it right onto the screen with maybe a protective layer, then it could cure in the print because that's the exact wavelength that it needs. I guess that could be a good idea. Does Sid asking again, follow up to the why don't I touch it? This is still uncured. This is technically still uncured resin. This is still raw resin, as in like touching the liquid stuff. This is still uncured. It's not super healthy to touch it. Yes, it's been washed, so it's no super it's not super dangerous like the raw stuff, but it's still partially cured, so it's not, you know, once it's fully cured, like it's totally okay. You can do whatever you want. You could eat this stuff once it's cured. I wouldn't recommend it, but I guess technically, yeah, it's not, you could, maybe, I don't know. But once it's cured, it's pretty safe. But if it's still uncured or not fully cured, then yeah, I'm not gonna risk it. Because again, if you mess with resin and you get yourself sensitized to it, you're in a world of hurt, and I don't want to be that guy. So yeah, no text detail. What? 10 watt LED UV light from Amazon. I guess you can do that. Yeah. So thankfully, the ecosystem for resin printers is getting pretty good these days. You can get a lot of these things like UV lights or replacement screens apparently too, and resins. 2 years ago, it was a whole different story, but it's getting a lot more, all this stuff is getting a lot more readily available, including like IPA. You can get this stuff by the 5-gallon or 5-liter keg. Yeah, very good stuff. So again, I want to remind you guys, resin is nasty stuff. Use a respirator. Use one that doesn't just have the particle filter. Use one that has an actual organic matter filter. I think I'm going to put this one in the description below once the stream is over. And it's going to link this one. These masks are actually pretty darn cheap. The mask body is like $5. The filters are, I think, $15 for replacement. And they are just so comfortable to wear and filter really well. This is the 3M mask, I think, that's standard 6200. Really good stuff. Definitely recommend it. And it also filters out the smell, so that's a big pro. Yeah, be safe, guys. Wear nitrile gloves. Don't touch it. Make sure you don't get it anywhere. Wear a respirator if you're in a closed room. I have ventilation going on here, but I should be wearing a respirator because I can smell it. Yes. And good point, Part-Time Ronin, how to take care of the contaminated IPA after you wash the print. Well, this right now, because it does contain, you can actually see that it's kind of this color, it's kind of yellowish now. This is what we call Sondermüll. This is like toxic waste that you cannot and you should not pour this down the drain, or dispose of it in any particular way that is not through a specialized recycling agency or someone who can take this sort of waste and dispose of it properly. Yeah, it's kind of hard to get rid of it in the proper way, in a safe way and environmentally responsible way. Sorry. I did skip over super chat from Michael Vett. Thanks for being here. I remember the name. You're a longtime viewer, so thanks for the super chat. And yeah, nice evening to you too. A nice evening to all of you guys as well. Thank you all for joining in. What should I point out? All the links to this stuff are in the video description. Again, affiliate links. They are Amazon links, so they don't want me to tell you that that supports the channel, but that you know how affiliate works. You guys know how affiliate links work. Thank you all for joining in. Yeah, Elegoo Mars, good stuff. Liking it. If they did include that screw that doesn't make the VAT drop out, that would have been even better. But so far for $250, it's pretty okay. They used to be more expensive. It's pretty solidly built, and it prints well. So again, thank you guys for watching, and see you all in the next one, next live stream, next video. Oh, check out that topology optimization video. That's probably going to pop up on the screen right here. Good stuff. Really liked how that came out. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a nice evening. Have a nice day wherever you are. Goodbye.